He even got laid off from his first job. Okay. I'm Yash. I'm one of the co-founders here at Sharpener. So I'll be the host for today. And today we have a very special guest. Okay. He's one of our very, very old students. Okay. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about everything. Okay. So, guys, one personal note which I wanted to share with you guys today in the alumni show was like in the last 5 years, we've got a lot of students placed. Okay. But like 5 years back when we started Sharpener, we started with like one simple mission primarily. That mission was to become the most student centric platform of India. Okay. To become a platform which all the students love. Okay. And for most of you guys, like I cannot even guarantee what kind of a package which you'll get. Okay, I cannot guarantee a number, but one philosophy which we've always stuck to is that we would try to get you that's a double digit offer no matter what. And today's alumni who's come today, he's a good testament to that. So Bikraj is one of our very old students. Okay, joined Sharpener roughly 3 years back. Okay. And he got his first job around like somewhere around 2 years back. He even got laid off from his first job. Okay. But then we definitely helped him out again. We helped him get another job right after that. And with that company, he stayed there for more than 2 years. And after that, like when he was willing to switch, we again made him switch. And today he has bagged the double digit offer. So yeah, his journey is very inspirational and very close to me in general. Like I have personally taught him. So it's very close to me as well. So welcome to the alumni show, Bikraj. Very happy to have you here. Yeah, one of my old students.
Thank you, thank you. Hello, everyone. My full name is Bikraj, and I'm from Assam. I have done my graduation from Lovely Professional University. I'm a 2021 graduate. Well, after that, I saw a post from Yash that they would train people and then get them placed. I was like, okay. It was tough to get a college, right? I wanted to do MCA, but it's just that the colleges weren't open or weren't replying. So I thought maybe why not get a job? And only then I saw Yash post, and I was like, that's a great opportunity, and I take it.
So you done BCA, right, Bikraj? And
Yes.
were there any campus placements back then?
Yes, there were campus placement going on, but I wanted to do MCA. But then the COVID happened, and you know what else?
Fair enough. Any specific reasons why you wanted to do MCA back then? Because I have a lot of folks in Sharpener. There are a lot of folks who only do a bachelor's and they plan to do a master's later. Do you feel like what was the reason you want to do an MCA and not uh, like go out for a job directly?
Sure. So the general thinking is that at least you get your master's completed. That's what my family had in my mind for me.
Okay.
The other thing is that you get applicable to some of the government jobs. Also, you can then apply for GATE as well. And then there are a lot of teaching jobs as well. So it just basically opens a gate for more opportunities.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Like most of the students kind of get the same reason only. They want to do a master's because their parents want to do it, want them to do it. And yeah, it opens up a lot of gates. But right after BCA, okay, like I think you joined Sharpener. Tell me about this. Did you know coding from before, or like it was after you joined Sharpener, you started coding?
Yeah, sure. So I was introduced to coding in the class 10th of my school. It was basic HTML, but it was quite fun. And then when I was in class 11th, we had this subject Java, where we would build basic applications like calculator and such. It was quite intriguing, and I liked it. So that's why I decided to go for BC. I would still follow some courses for C++ and more technology as such. I would cover the basics, and I would try to go to the more advanced section of it. But that was it. I did not have any professional exposure as to how to make websites or any such full-blown application. So that's when Sharpener come to the picture. Well, I followed the course. It was pretty nice, and it covered pretty much everything what is used in the industry.
That makes sense. Yeah, I think pretty much that's what we try to do over here at Sharpener. Like whatever is going on in the industry, we try and tend to supercharge the students with that. Like the major promise which we do to the HRs also is that our freshers can beat 1 year, 2 year experienced folks. That's what we tend to tell the HRs as well. That has actually worked. That is the working mantra which has worked for us over the last 5 years, wherein our students, like trust me on this, like our students are like better than a lot of 1 year, 2 year experienced folks. Yeah. Okay. So Bikraj, I think the fresher part, I think, is common across like all the alumni which come at Sharpener. Tell me one interesting thing about that time when you were interviewing during the COVID times and interviewing right now. What has changed in terms? You can talk about the number of interviews. How was it like back then? How easy was it to crack interviews, or how difficult was it, and compare it with now?
Sure. I'll give credits to the sharpness course because of which back then I was able to crack a lot of offers. The very first interview that I gave, I cracked it, all thanks to Yash and its team and the course that they have provided. Well, back then, the questions would revolve generally around the basic structure, like what's an E5 and what are the new things introduced, even the difference between NoSQL, SQL. All those basic questions would get asked pretty much. But right now, things have taken a level up. Okay. Now the questions may revolve around the let's say you use any function, right? You use function to hash, like, so they would ask, how do you hash it? Like, what's the behind the scene of it? You would compare it, what's the behind the scene of it, and then maybe questions like database optimization, API optimization, more of such things.
Fair enough, fair enough. Yeah, I think that's what we've also seen. I think right now it's like cracking a 6 LP offer or a 7 LP offer has become as difficult as cracking a 12 LP offer back then. Because a lot of companies, what we've seen, have reduced their packages. I know companies, like I talk about this every webinar in which I come. That this I've seen this personally. Like that time there were like during the COVID times, there were companies which were paying 12 LPA, 10 LPA. Now they've reduced their package from 12 LPA to 8 LPA, 6 LPA. And their interviews have also become difficult because definitely the competition is there, right? Like there are less number of openings and more competition. Yeah. But I think all of this more, I'll say, difficult for the students who are directly applying from college. Like basically students who have graduated just from college, they've not done any courses. It has become more and more difficult for them, I'll say. For Sharpenarians, I'll still say things are easier, I'll say, because they always have an advantage. Because we have a big placement preparation module, guys, which you might see towards the end of the course. Okay. Over there, almost each and every new question which is coming, like we have access to all of that. Each and every question which is coming, which the companies are asking, we have the entire database. Okay. It's more than, I'll say, like I think 20,000 plus questions, which we've accumulated across the last 5 years. So like all of them is there, like in a summarized fashion. So yeah, that way I think it is still easy for the Sharpenarians to crack interviews, comparatively easy. But for college students, the college students who are directly applying after college, I think it's pretty difficult for them now because each and every company is right now asking tech stack. Like previously, they were just asking DSA problems. Now they want the students to know tech stack because I think that has become the normal norm. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, that is correct.
Like everyone's expecting कि front end तो या back end तो आना ही चाहिए बच्चे को.
At least.
At least that's become a bare bones. Previously, it was just DSA, like basic DSA आता था, so I think people used to get select. That's hot. So tell me about this thing, na Bikraj. Tell us about your career trajectory, as in how things started. Tell us about your experience na, with the software industry altogether.
Sure. So, in the first company, I was selected as a Node developer, and the framework I had to work with was Happy.js. It was a fairly new framework, and there were a lot of wrappers around, right? So it's generally different from your normal Express that you work with. So it took some time to get familiar with it, and then so the APIs you would make were a little different, but I did get used to it, and I started making them. It was a fun experience, but I guess was not fast enough, or maybe I was not punctual enough. The first company, after the project was near completion, they decided to let me go. It was a client company, and they decided to let me go. And the parent company had other projects, but it was just that I would have to move to Chennai or somewhere because it was a remote job, and they decided not to send me there because they already had other developers, right? And so they decided to lay me off.
Tell us about this now. Like I think a lot of students, okay, they'll be starting off their career as a fresher, okay, and they'll be fresh out of college. So tell us about like what are the things which they should not do, as in so that they don't maybe get fired, or maybe they create a very good impression, so that they can also create a very good impression. So what was your learning over here?
You just have to really like what you do and give it your best.
Yeah, but I also kind of like I've seen so many freshers, right? So I normally I have a video in the placement preparation module where I tell students when you join a company, at least the first 3 months you should give it 150% of what you have, because I think the first impression is what matters the most, and that stays. Okay, like say if I create a first impression that I'm a lousy person, even if I become very hardworking, also na that impression would not go. Okay, because
That is
that assumption would be there. Ki, haan, Yash is so lousy only, so it would not change. So that's what I also tell most of the freshers. Ki, first company which you join, the first 3 months, show them that you are the best. Because tell me, like in the next company which you joined, okay. So first company you joined, you got laid off. Then what happened after that? Like what was the story after that?
sure. So it was only 5 months or so, and I did not even complete my whole sharpener's payment. It was pretty heavy on my mind, and I reached Yash back again and explained him everything. And he was very helpful, and he later got me placed into other company, which I worked there for more than 2 years, close to 3 years, I would say. There, I tried my best to do not make those mistakes that I've made earlier. And I would say that it did pay me. I was there, I made those APIs, fixed those bugs. I tried to make sure
Punctual
that,
this thing. You were punctual,
yes,
hardworking. I've seen this difference like in a lot of people. Once they get fired or once they get laid off, there's a big reality check which happens, and then in the next job they are rockstar performers. Like in the next job which they get into, that's what I've seen across freshers as well. But yeah, guys, one thing which we would always do for you guys, like once you guys get placed, okay, we also understand that a lot of you would get a job in a startup. Uh, yeah, and there are a lot of risks. Okay, I'm not saying it's going to be easy journey. Okay, but we'll be there for you guys. Okay, all you have to just do is like properly do the course, properly do your fundamentals. Okay, your fundamentals should be strong. And once you have the skill set, like we would take care of the rest. That is a promise from us. If you lose your job, only like if you lose your job because like if you lose your job for any reason, accepting the reason that you were not actually performing, if you give your 100% and you still lose your job, we would help you out. Definitely we would help you out. Okay, but yeah, only cases where we don't help is like if the student misbehaves or he takes everything very lightly. That is the only case where we don't help. Yeah, in most of the cases we tend to help our students out so that like they can because we understand that there's a risk involved. Okay? And I've seen once like after the first job, if they lose their first job, if once we help them out, most of them, like 99% of the students have not come back again. They have performed really well in the second job which they got. So that's something which we've seen. Yeah. So we're always there to help you out. Okay? So now, Bikraj, honestly, that time also, I remember maybe we had a conversation around this that time. Like we were still not happy with the package which you had gotten. I think it was around 6 LP Bikraj that time. So we were still not happy. And then I think right now, I think we've done justice. I think we've gotten you a double digit offer. So are you happy with that or not?
yes, I'm fairly happy.
Awesome, awesome. So tell me about this, Bikraj. What was the interview phase like in general? Tell us from the fresher journey, like how were you getting calls? Like tell us about that.
Sure. So back then, I would get calls pretty much every day, and those calls were also converted to interviews. And I have probably given about 3 or 4 interviews back then, but I've decided to not move with them because they required me to move to other cities like Delhi, Bangalore, and such. And finally, I settled with Workwith, where I was working as a remote developer.
Okay.
And about those interviews, generally there would be around 3 rounds, 2 technical and 1 managerial. And the questions are fairly basic. So you would need to know the fundamentals. And once you are good at it, you could pretty much answer most of them. And you could also guess some of the answers if you know
Nice.
the fundamentals.
Nice. I think fundamentals, if the fundamentals are strong, I think everything can be done. Like you can guess answers, you can build good applications. I think everything is doable once your fundamentals are clear. Yeah. But because tell me about this, since you worked in both the setups, remote as well as work from office. I think right now you were working from Gurgaon, right? Gurgaon, Noida.
Yes.
Yeah. So tell us about this. Like as a fresher, what would you suggest all the fellow sharpeners? Like should they work remotely or should they join the office as a fresher?
Just Mhm. I would suggest them to join the office and you try to get as much exposure as you can. Try to get to know your people around you, how things work internally, and if things don't go right, also learn how to can manage those situations. They are really helpful and will go long term with you in every domain you go.
I also kind of agree to Bikraj, guys. That first job, I would urge all of you, ki as a fresher, you should go to office, guys. I see a lot of freshers who are willing to take remote opportunities and not open to relocate. But I would just say, ki first job, mein, you should go the extra mile, go to a new city, go to a metropolitan and work over there. Major difference you'll see na, like when you are working with someone in person, na, he can guide you a lot. He can help you a lot compared to when you're working remotely. Remotely, there is no emotional touch, no nothing. Okay. When you are there in the office, the team lead would help you out. Okay. He'll see that you're putting in the efforts, you're disciplined. He'll definitely help you out. Okay. But when you are working from home, no one can see your efforts. If they give you a task and you're not able to do it, they'll think that you were maybe not working on it. Okay, maybe in between you dozed off. Maybe you had a heavy lunch and you dozed off in between. So first job, I'll always suggest get out of your comfort zone, get and go to office. You'll see the difference in yourself. Okay, and plus, I think Bikraj, I think he had stayed all his life in the northeastern side. I think college also you've done from northeast, right, Bikraj?
Not actually, yeah. But the thing is that I was pretty comfortable there. And it was a hard choice to move here in the NCR region, but it did pay me off.
Fair enough. Yeah, that's what comfort say. Like people say, na, ki come out of your comfort zone. That is very, very important. Yeah. Guys, one last question which I have. Bikraj, tell me about this thing. Like when you were interviewing, okay, or when you were preparing, what were what are the things which you'll say? Tell the students. What are those things when they are preparing for interviews? What are the things which you'll suggest the students should that they should not do?
Well, personally, I would say that while you're preparing, try to cover everything in depth. When you get something down to the root, it's hard to forget it. So cover as much topic as you can, cover it's in fully depth. Later, you will also see that your uh, software development life would get a lot easier. You would understand functions or events, calls, or anything that happens in the code, you would get it easily. So I would say cover everything, cover as much as you can, and once you start giving interviews, you would know like what things are asked a lot.
Yeah, I think that is what matters the most. Okay, guys, like personal experience, I'll tell you. As an interviewer, like when I'm interviewing a student, na, I would want him to know a lot of things. Okay, definitely. But what impresses me the most, okay, is when I ask him a question, okay, he's able to answer it. Definitely that impresses me. But he's able to answer me in depth. Okay, so that kind of shows me that this person just doesn't looks at topics just like that. Okay, when he just doesn't look at a topic just to cover it. He looks at it with a passion and with a questionable attitude. He say like if I am asking someone what is closure, or maybe if I'm asking him a simple topic as what is looping. Okay, a simple answer would be ki it is used to basically redo a task multiple number of times. But a better answer would be ki there are conditions like basically if he goes in depth about any topic, okay, that helps a lot. So that is a very important thing which you guys should do. Okay, you guys should question each and everything which you're learning, and once you start questioning each and everything which you learn, right, you'll automatically have a very curious mind, and that's what every interviewer loves. Okay, every person who's hiring a techie, he wants the person whom he's hiring, he always is curious. He always asks you, why are we doing this, what is going to happen. Those are the people like everyone loves. Okay, so make sure ki you are doing everything in depth. Okay, and if you're not being able to understand, if you still have questions, you can always ask the mentor. The mentors are always available to help you out. Yeah, okay. Guys, I think you guys can start asking your questions in the Q&A forum. Okay, Kanishk is asking what was your package before 11 LPA, Ambika Raj?
It was around 8,30,000.
Fair enough. I have one question, Bikraj. Just out of curiosity, how is the new company different from the previous company?
It is a lot different. There is a different, like, in the very first company, I was asked to go to the documentation of a framework which was picked for the project, and then I was sent straight to the project.
Okay.
Here, I was given a first project as a demo to check my skills. I was given a time allotted, and then we had a mentor assigned above, which basically monitors everything that I do, and I have to report everything that I do, which somewhat shows that there's a more structure here before pressure is put into project, which is what I like basically.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So there's more structure. That, that, that is definitely there. I think major thing which I've seen now with big companies is that they have a lot of structure to everything. And that's a good thing in general. With small companies, even like with Sharpener being a small company, I can totally relate with your other company, wherein we get a developer. Mostly we hire from Sharpener only. So our students are well equipped with whatever tech stack we are using. So that's one advantage which we normally have. But yeah, we tend to basically deploy them from day one into like not production level, but at least the staging level code. Yeah. But yeah, big companies have this benefit definitely. Okay. So much asking in 2025, can you tell us if the market is really improving compared to 2023 and 2024?
Sure. So I will tell you from my current experience. As for somebody who is experienced, the market is still open. There are jobs out there you can apply, crack, and they do have really good numbers behind them also. As a fresher, it's tough. It's actually tough. But the thing is that you have sharpness here, which are there to help you, and they are like a bridge over the fire to your destination, and I'm sure they will not disappoint.
Thank you, Vikas. Okay. But yeah, primarily, say one statistic which I was reading, what I've seen is that there has been an increase in hiring over like experienced little senior folks. Junior folks hiring has been like I was reading a statistic by HackerRank. A 6% increment is there in terms of from 2024. Not a big jump because like the number of engineering graduates passing this year would be double as of compared to 2024 almost. Okay. So there has been a very small increment in terms of fresher hiring compared to the number of freshers who will be graduating. So that is there. But yeah, primarily, I'll just say, guys, you don't have to focus on that. You don't have to get worried. What you should get worried is that you should do the course properly, and we'll take care of the remaining. Yeah. Okay. Rajkumar is asking for your LinkedIn profile. You can search Bikraj. I think you'll find him. It's a unusual name. I think you'll find him. Urvashi over here is asking ki how should she go about revising all the concepts that she has learned just a day before the interview? What was your strategy over here, Bikraj?
So what I would do is that there are cheat sheets online available. You can also make your own. As you study different things, you can just write down the topic and a brief little line as to explain them in your own terms as to how do you understand those topics. And later on, it would basically apply 3-4 pages or something. You can easily go over them and continue your interviews.
Fair enough. Fair enough. That helps, guys. And like personally, what I would say now, like the most unique, and not so unique, but the most easiest thing which you should do now, like is like once you've learned after every topic, now you should make some notes in some notebook. That helps a lot. That used to help me when I was interviewing at one point of time. I used to make notes. Okay, and your self-written notes, na, they are very, very easy to grasp. That's what I've seen. Like within a day, within like 5 hours, you can revise everything if you make yourself notes. Okay. Sriram over here asks ki if we get fired after a few months after placement, should we still pay Sharpener the rest of the 70% of the per annum package? So Sriram, this is written in the ISA also, and this is something which we follow also, that once you get fired or get laid off, okay, you don't have to pay. You don't have to pay. Sharpener will take care of the payment. Okay, and what we'll do is we'll open the placement dashboard again for you so that you can start applying again. Once you get placed again, okay, you can start paying the thing again, the 17% again from the time you get placed again. Yeah, that's something which we also take care of. So yeah, if you get fired, you don't have to pay that time. We'll get you another job, and from there you can start continuing payment. Sandeep over here is asking how to code front end as CS. Front end gives a lot of problem like properties. I know, but I still unable to apply properties on project scenarios. It takes a lot of time. I have learned over the years, guys, is ki CSS, there is no end to CSS. Okay. If you start off CSS, na, like it would take you good 2-3 years to like become a good front end person. Okay, like CSS is complicated, and I'm also not even guaranteeing ki even after 3 years you'll be able to write very good CSS. But what you should know is the basic fundamentals you should know properly, and the remaining with time you'll become better at it. I'll say with time you'll have that cleanliness and you'll have a deeper understanding of design. Okay, right now as a fresher you should just know the fundamentals properly, how to align a div in the center. These are the common, there are some common set of questions which are always asked and they'll always be asked, so you should just know that, and that's more than sufficient. Long story short, CSS takes a lot of time and a lot of practice. So you have a lot of libraries you can use. That's why libraries are preferred, but you still have to write CSS on top of it. That is not avoidable, but yeah, it will take a lot of, it will take some time for you to become a good pro at it. Okay. Okay. You, Martin, over here is asking what will be your recipe for a fresher to land a 9 LPA job in 2025?
Well, I can tell you what would you need, but getting a 9 LP is all upon you. The system is already there. Get your DSA, get your stack, and also learn how to, be proficient in those stack. Let's say that you design system, so learn how to do a little bit of system design. For front end, you learn how to structure the code, refactoring, all those tools will be really helpful, because those little things also get asked, and when you answer them, and when you're the only person who can answer them, it really makes you stand out.
That's a very fair answer. I would just like to add one more element is the same course which you do in Sharpener. Na, there are people who get 11 LP, 12 LP as well, and there are students who get 5 LP, 4 LP as well. So I think the major thing which you should do is you should have a curious mind. Okay? System design, basically creating good APIs, having a strong data, fundamental knowledge of data structure. There, everything is there in the course. Only thing which you should look at is you should talk to your mentors. Like whenever you are having any mock interview or whenever you're preparing any topic, you should always be curious. Okay, you should always question why you're learning this, and you should go in depth. I think that is the major thing. Okay, going in depth is the most important part. Okay, and reading a little bit online also. That is important. Okay, just not watching videos. That also helps. Manju over here is asking, I do have 1.6 years of internship. Will it be considered? Yes, definitely, Manju, that gets considered. But that would not be like a real experience. 1.6 years of internship, you'll still be considered fresher, but definitely a fresher with experience. A fresher with some experience, if that's the thing. But yeah, like it's a good thing to have internship. Yeah. But definitely it's not similar to having a 1.6 years of actual experience. There are some boundaries, but yeah, definitely your CV would stand out when it comes to interviews. Sumit over here is asking, do interviewers ask questions about structure of things like Node.js, or if I studied Express? So should I study everything like complete buffer streams internally and HTTP, or only do framework will do, doing the framework will do the job? Bikraj, what is your thought over here?
Well, knowing things like buffer streams internally would really help you, because these question gets asked, and if you can demonstrate a complete example, that would really help you. Well, if you are running low on time, maybe we can only cover framework, but if you have the time, and definitely explore other topics.
I'd like to take this question a little differently because this question is a commonly asked question only. What I will suggest now, guys, is the first do the course properly, go in depth in certain portions. Okay, always question ki why is this, but once you finish the course, right, and once you have the time again, you can go further in depth. And what I would always suggest, guys, like you, since you have such mentors who are there from the morning till the evening to help you out, ask them, make their lives a little miserable. Ask them. Okay, they would definitely help you out. Okay, because they would have in-depth knowledge. They'll guide you across. Ki this is how you should think about it. Okay, they would definitely guide you and they will help you out. So that way you'll come to know maybe more things. Okay, like say maybe if you're using say Express.js, okay, they might tell you something more. Like maybe they'll tell you to sequelize. They use it in a different fashion. Maybe okay, they might talk to you about that. Okay, in real-time projects. So those things would also help. Okay, there are a lot of things. Okay, maybe if you're not using transactions in your projects, okay, they might tell you okay, you should use transactions like this. Okay, so talk to the mentors. Okay, mentors are there to help you out. Okay, Shubham over here is asking, Can you tell us what kind of rounds are there in interview? Like, is it like specially dedicated DSA rounds or along with machine coding, or like he's asking around the nature of rounds, Bikraj?
Sure. So DSA is a concept that will be present in every interview, every company's interview rounds. Maybe a little, very little, depending on the companies, maybe a lot. And after that, there will be rounds, machine rounds that will require you to make some applications. It's generally done so so then
Fair
other
enough.
than that, generally it's mostly theory that I've seen from my experience, and they will try to cover as many things as they can. In the last interview that I gave, they asked about threads, processes, and more. There are things that are used less during your actual coding, but it will be asked. Right? So you just have to be prepared.
Fair enough. Okay. The next question which I have, okay. Does company actually care about years gap during interview?
Yes, they do. And they would ask you for the reason. And if you can't justify it, maybe try to, because they do actually care about.
Yeah, but guys, don't have to worry. Okay, a lot. Okay, we are there to help you. Okay, they would care and reject your interview resume if you don't go through Sharpener. But if you're through Sharpener, you get some special preferences. So don't worry about that. We would help you out. But yeah, definitely your gaps matter to a few companies, definitely. But we'll help you out. Okay. All you have to do, focus on your preparation. Yeah. Urvashi is asking over here, projects we have done on Sharpener, are they good for cracking 10 to 12 LPA or something out of box should be created? I'll take that question, Urvashi. So primarily, Urvashi, right now in Sharpener, na, there are two things which are happening. You are creating a lot of projects which are which are guided, okay, which we are helping you out. But on top of that, there are a lot of now test projects which are there, okay, which are a little different from the guided projects, okay, and they are a little more in depth, okay. And at the end of the course, you also get a capstone project where you are not given any problem statement, okay. You have to basically create a startup project for yourself, okay. Like basically you have to think like a startup founder and create your own project, okay. And then one of our mentors would review it. So basically that would be a very in-depth product. Maybe you can build something like Swiggy, okay, or maybe something like Flipkart, okay. But what would be asked, what would be looked at, what the major thing which we'll be looking at is that that project needs to be very in-depth, okay, and it would be very different from other projects which you built. So that is also there. So that would kind of also help you out with your interviews, yeah. But yeah, Sharpener projects are also good, but this extra project would also create a lot of difference. What package can one expect if someone knows still graphs but not having projects in his profile?
Knows what?
Like he's asking if he just knows DSA, what package can he expect?
Well, generally, when you're talking about service based or startups, they do not ask much DSA. Well, even I've completed a lot of questions and I've dug deep into graphs and trees and liberative DP, but it's just not that asked that much, I would say. It's generally the stacks that is drilled into much more and in great steps that I've seen.
That makes sense to me. But what I would say now, see the thing which I see now is ki like major problem which you would have na DSA if you know good na that is a plus point definitely. But major problem nowadays which I see now is that a lot of companies, like say if you're applying to any company, they would prefer someone who has done some projects. Okay, who knows the tech stack already. So getting an interview becomes a challenge if you just have say data structures mentioned, because everyone would write data structures. Okay, right now everyone writes ki I have solved 200 lead code problems or 500 lead code problems. That has become a common thing. Okay, everyone writes that these days. Okay, so that is where the challenge becomes. Getting an interview becomes quite challenging with only DSA. Yeah, that is what I would say. Okay, Urvashi is asking how long an interview is in which they will ask questions on DSA, not JSD. Bikraj, how long are the interviews?
When I used to take interviews, I would basically lay a setup. Initially, I would let them cover their projects and I would ask questions about the projects. Like, what specific part have you contributed and how did you contribute to it? Where did you learn from that source code and everything? And then I would ask question about object-oriented programming, database management, all those basics and a little tricky ones I would ask them. And then later I will cover JavaScript also. And generally, this structure is used pretty much everywhere because that's where I referred it from. So you can basically expect a little bit of everything to be covered from each of those.
Chandrika is asking, did you apply on other job portals? And if yes, which portals did you use?
Sure. So, well, I have a profile in Top Hire, Cutshot, and LinkedIn. I have also applied from them, and I did get some response back. But the thing was that I had to be like fully present there, and with the daily job that has a lot of pressure, it was hard for me to manage the time. It was really hard to get those energies back up at around 11, 12 p.m. to apply for jobs and prepare it. And so I decided to take help from the sharpness again, and I'm really glad I did.
Fair enough. The next question is, so Ranjay Singh over here is asking ki, how difficult is it to get hired if he's from a different background? So Ranjay Singh, I'm not sure whether you were there in the last webinar which we had taken. So we had a BCom candidate, okay, like a student who had done BCom 4 years back, and then he had 4 years of gap. We had placed them. So I don't see a problem there. I'll always say that the skills matter the most to us, okay, at Sharpener. Remaining we'll take care of. Urvashi over here is asking what level of DSA was asked. How many questions are an ideal number one should have done? I think Bikraj, what you should answer is ki, like right now, what is the state like? What kind of DSA questions are normally asked nowadays?
Sure, sure. Generally, it's easy to medium DSA questions covering your basic basic data structure. You can expect questions from stack, queues, arrays. Array and strings are the mostly asked one.
Okay, Vishal over here is asking, can you show the, okay, sure, can you show the placement module? How does it look like? I myself am going to apply. Vishal, it will be difficult to show it right now, but I think once you are ready for placements, it will just open up, okay? And it's a pretty straightforward. I'll tell you what it basically shows. Okay, it kind of shows you the name of the company, the location, the package which they are offering, what role are they offering. Okay, everything it shows, and there is an option if you want to apply, you can apply. Okay, if you don't want to apply, maybe that company is in a location which you cannot go. Okay, or maybe it's offering a package which you are not expecting. So it's all up to you. Okay, but yeah, standard structure. It's kind of like Naukri.com in a way. But the concept over here basically remains that there are less number of students with whom you're competing, and your quality is already gauged. Okay, so that is what we tell the HRs. This student is already very good. He's already well prepared. Okay, so that is the major thing. Okay, and yeah, you guys get the complete freedom. Okay, it's not like we will force you. You have to apply for this company, that company. Okay, it's pretty streamlined there. You guys get the complete independence to apply to whichever company you want to apply. Mohit is asking, what was your first package which you got from Sharpener? It will motivate us so that we can push more in the future.
Sure. The first package that I received was a 5 LP. It was from Workbridge Private Limited. It was a remote offer, so it meant a lot. Back then, they were offers around 7, 8, 9 LP, but it would require you to move out of the city. So I did not choose them, and I went with this offer. But it was a mistake, as you know.
Yeah, I'll repeat the same thing. Like going to the office first as a fresher, you should go to office definitely. Yeah. Meena here is asking, are you a full stack or a front end engineer? Because what are you?
So mainly I do backend, but when the time requires me to do front end, I also take part in it. Majorly, you can say 90% I do backend.
Menzer is asking, what is the realistic package one can expect from Sharpener? See, Menzer, I'll be honest over here. Like today only, there is a company which is offering 12 to 14 LPA to a fresher. It goes with the name of Lumber. So that has also come. Like a lot of companies come. Okay, I'll say it all depends on your preparation. I'll say average, like last month's average was somewhere above 5 LPA. 5 LPA was our average for last month. I think that is also visible on the dashboard. 5 point something was the average. Yeah. But we do get companies 10 to 12 LPA, 8 LPA, those type of companies we do get. Okay. Sorry, there is one correction I have. The company there is an interview going on today only. It's offering 12 to 14 LPA. Sorry, that's what. And there is one guy who's in the final round as well with that company. So multiple, and he's a fresher. Okay, it's not like an experienced person. But yeah, you get a lot of different types of companies coming in. but the interviews are definitely more and more difficult with higher packages. Okay, so you have to prepare like that. Okay, Mitheshwar is asking, did he have to complete any additional course for the alumni program? Bikraj, I think primarily you are working in the industry, so you know a lot of things already. So alumni program, you can directly enroll. Okay, just have to clear the mock interview. But yeah, no additional course and all that you have to do. Because anyways, you're practicing every day. Yeah? Urvashi was asking, is it important to put live projects links in resume?
Whenever I see a resume, well, when I'm going to the projects, it has descriptions with it, and when I read the description, I just want to see what the project actually looks like. Okay, and generally, when I find the project is hosted somewhere, and I get to see it, I really like it. So I would say that if you can, you should. Otherwise, it's still okay.
And does make sense. So, okay, Menzer is again asking a question around if he comes prepared with DSA, will he be starting from projects? So, Menzer, basically the concept over here is like if you are already prepared with DSA, you can maybe opt for the fast track where there would be a mentor who will take your interview. And if you crack that fast track interview, okay, then you can directly maybe skip DSA, skip a lot of other things as well if you want. If you just know DSA, you skip DSA. If you know back end front end, you can directly sit for placements as well. Okay. So that is there. Fast track interview is there as a concept. You can talk to your like the person who is the counselor who is connected with you. Maybe she can give you access to that. But it's a paid feature because the interviewer who's going to be there, he charges 500 rupees per hour. If you clear that interview, it's going to be simple questions only, easy, medium, like the way Bikraj told. Easy to medium level questions would only be asked. But if you clear that DSA round, then you get to skip DSA. If you clear front end, back end as well, then you get to directly sit for placements. Okay, Ishwar, after which module will the placement module become available? After final mock 1 and final mock 2, or only after completing the entire course? So, Ganeshwar, this is a good question. Your placement starts once you finish one technology, okay, one tech stack. You don't have to finish the entire course. You just have to finish one technology, okay, and then that's more than sufficient. Okay, so after you finish one technology, and you give the final mock 2, okay, you get to sit for placements directly. And last question, Sayek is asking, in front-end interviews, all the companies are asking DSA these days because before recession, they were not. Bikraj, you're not a front-end guy, so I'll only take this answer. But yeah, Sayek, I would say you just don't know. Okay? As in, some companies would ask and some companies would not. But I would always suggest that DSA is very, very important. As in, if you don't know DSA, mostly you'll get rejected, even if they don't ask you front end question. Even if they don't ask you DSA question, like that logic building in general would not be there. Like you'll not be able to do logic building well, and you'll not be able to. You'll always be scared of coding in general if you don't know DSA well. So that's my understanding. So DSA, I'll say, is the most difficult out of the entire course, and it is the most important as well. So you should do DSA well. At least these stacks and queues. Linked lists, if you still don't do well, that is fine. Okay, guys, I think we've taken a lot of questions. Yeah. And yeah, I think you've been a lovely audience, everyone. So, Bikraj, thank you for joining us. Thank you for guiding so many students.
Thank you, Piyush, for inviting me here. Hope it was insightful to what actually is there.
Definitely. Yeah, it was very insightful. Students, I hope this was insightful for you guys as well. Yeah. And if you have any more questions, you can always reach out to me on LinkedIn or even Bikraj on LinkedIn. Yeah. I think he's available on LinkedIn. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Then, guys, thank you for joining. Bye bye.